You smoke?
No, it's just important to always have the camping essentials. You never know when you might need to blow something up. I made a mistake. I've summoned it here. The entity. It hails from a world like a nightmare. It is evil incarnate. In order to manifest in our world, the entity requires sacrifices. In its world, the entity takes the form of a monstrous being to do its bidding of murder.
What?
Guys, what's happening?
What's up, YouTube? Rogue here, and today I'm bringing you another fan film, this time from a video game license called Dead by Daylight. And I'm just going to say right off the start, right off the hop, this was not the best work I've seen. So the movie starts with our victims dancing awkwardly, which I'm not really going to judge too hard because I wouldn't do any better. That being said, awkward dancing seems to work for two of them as they get ready to head off to bed. Well, they say that they're going to sleep, but we know that they're not going to sleep. You know, I'm just going to fast forward this review because there's really not much to talk about. This movie does not do Dead by Daylight justice. It doesn't feel like Dead by Daylight. As a slasher movie set in the 1980s, it's okay, but by using the Dead by Daylight license and not having anything to do with Dead by Daylight, aside from one letter that the character finds that describes the entity, it's just a slasher. It's a slasher film. The 1985 feel is really cool. I've always loved the 80s era, but that's about all I can say. You have this Dead by Daylight license that you're apparently making a fan film of, and it's got nothing to do with Dead by Daylight, except for, as I said, the one letter the chick finds that describes the entity. I'm torn because originally I said that there's no such thing as a bad fan film. This feels like I was proven wrong. It's not horrible, and again, I can't fault them for lack of budget. They don't have the studio backing of Hollywood, but with some of the fan films we've looked at already, and then seeing this, it just doesn't hold par. But I don't want to just crap on it, so I'm going to do something different. If you guys saw my early videos, I stated that it's a dream of mine to be a film director. So that being said, here is what I would do if I were to take the license of Dead by Daylight and make a fan film of it. And you guys go ahead and tell me what you think of my rendition of Dead by Daylight. So in this movie, the characters are all killed, and they wake up in this nightmarish alternate reality, I guess, which is, I suppose, supposed to be them going into the Dead by Daylight world. They can't remember who they are, they can't remember how they know each other, and they don't know how they got to where they are. And for my film, that ending clip I would take and I would set to the beginning. That's the setup for my film. Characters wake up in a strange environment. They don't know where they are, they don't know who they are, and they don't know how they got there. Complete amnesia. And for about 5 or 10 minutes, I would have them coming together and dealing with that obstacle of not knowing anything, not remembering anything. At which point they would exit. I would have it set at a cottage. I would have the opening set at a cottage. They exit the cottage. There's trees. You're think of Evil Dead. Well, yeah, think of Evil Dead. So they exit the cottage. They're surrounded by a forest. However, this is supposed to be the realm of the entity. So they are not surrounded by a large forest. It goes maybe 20 feet and they come to a clearing where they find different buildings. I don't know if I would have a desert or just open, whatever. But the point of it is that they are supposed to see that they are entrapped by this giant wall and they see the gate in the far distance. That is the setup that I'm going for. So what do you do when you see that you're entrapped and there's a gate in the distance? You head towards the damn gate. So they head towards the damn gate. They see that the gate is powered down. There's a power box. The power box has cords that are coming from it and going off into different directions, leading to the generators. They follow one of the cords. It brings them to a generator. They tamper with it and get it turned on. I don't have it broken, it's just powered down and rusty, so it takes them a minute or two, but they get it powered up. This alerts our killer. And I've given some thought to who the killer's going to be, because there's a plethora to choose from right from the start. I don't want cameo killers. Freddy's not in this, Michael's not in this. I want to use a Dead by Daylight killer. Or I could make my own. But in the interest of keeping it as Dead by Daylight as possible, at least for this one, we're going to use a Dead by Daylight killer. The other factor that I had to consider was who is evil enough. Because a lot of the killers, their backstories, they don't really start as killers. But there's 3 that I have to choose. Well, 4 that I have to choose from, but 3 because I'm trying to keep CGI out of it as much as possible. We have the clown, we have the trickster, and we have the doctor. I don't know much about the trickster, but from what I do know, I feel like I would write him to be too close to the Joker, and that would just feel like a ripoff. We are going to go with the doctor. And the reason I picked the doctor over the clown is because I have a scenario for the doctor that I don't have for the clown. So the survivors turn on one of the generators, and this alerts the doctor, who we see in his lair. He's working on a previous victim. Something in his lair triggers, I'm not sure what exactly yet, but something in his lair triggers, alerting him that the generator's been turned on. He grabs one of his tools and with his laughter stalks off to hunt our victims. Our victims then arrive at the second generator and begin working on it. They get it working when the doctor arrives in the doorway, and with a laugh, this sends our victims running in different directions. Some out the window, some out the back. The doctor takes a moment to kick the generator off. I'm not going to say damages it. Something that they can come back and tinker with and fix. He chases 2 of them after this into a building. They find a hiding spot, but one of them is unable to control her breathing, and so the doctor grabs her and takes her to one of the hooks that are spread throughout the area. The other victim that was in the building sees him grab her and take her out. They follow slowly behind and see him throw her on a hook, after which he stalks off to hunt down the rest. And so the survivor takes the opportunity to help their friend off the hook, at which point the doctor returns as he's not left but baited the other survivor to come for their friend. He knocks the healthy survivor prone with his weapon, grabs the survivor that was hooked, and throws her back on the hook head first. The other one's prone, and he starts beating on him. As he's doing this, a third generator turns on, which distracts the doctor from his victim. Knowing that his victim can't do anything and is helpless on the ground, they can't go anywhere, he decides he's going to go after the 3 that are remaining and stop them from escaping. And so, fast forwarding, he hunts them, he chases them, he kills them. There's really not much I can say. He kills one with an environmental kill so that I get some variety in there, hooks another, and then we're at the last survivor who gets the second generator turned back on and heads towards the gate. At this point, the doctor arrives behind her as she's opening the gate. He laughs, but the survivor that he left back at the hook returns, and he's going to have his grand moment of killing the doctor and saving both of them. Or at least that's what I want you to think. No, he's going to die. Doctor kills him to swerve the audience, but the last survivor is going to leave through the gate. And as they're running down the pathway, they find themselves coming to a second clearing. They see 4 or 5 more survivors arrive behind them, and in front of them is a broken down, decrepit, dark carnival. The survivors could never leave this nightmare world. They escape one just to enter another, and this sets up a potential sequel should I decide to do one. If you're going to do a Dead by Daylight movie, do a Dead by Daylight movie. If you're going to do a slasher film set in the 80s, great. But if you're going to attach a license to a film, then honor that license. And today's short film just doesn't. So yeah, tell me what you guys think of my version. By all means, go check out this one and let me know what you thought of that as well. Maybe you'll like it. It didn't work for me. With that said, I am Rogue. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.